GM's E-60 is not the prettiest locomotive, and when the shells look this bad, there's really only one thing to do: repaint. Or take a rotary tool to the second E-60 shell, cut, modify, sand, fill, sand some more, and then repaint, which is what this video is all about. In part 1 of this makeover, I added an upper deck observation area just behind the cab. I fabricated this rectangular piece on the rooftop to match the headlamp enclosure just above the windscreen, and it does a fairly good job, but I think I can do better. The rotary tool removes most of the original area, and sanding removes what's left to leave a smoother rooftop for a new headlight surround. I'll use sheet plastic to make new ones at each end, and these will very closely match the one on top of the observation area. Strictly speaking, the original E-60 doesn't have a front or rear. It's meant to be driven in either direction. But for this model, the observation area will now be considered to be at the front. But I'll retain the rearward-facing cab for emergency situations. So that means that both ends will get the new headlight enclosures. I think I'm finally done with modifications. I still need to drill some holes for clear LEDs to serve as headlights, but now I can turn my attention to paint. This area around the opening will be gray, but the roof will end up being black. When this project is finished, I will have used 5 different spray colors. The first color for the sides will be white, and I usually spray white first because it seems to take the longest time to cure. Masking too soon can leave patterns or blemishes in paint that's not fully dry, so I usually give white about a week. Now this time the white was fine, but it was the second color that took more than a week to harden up. What's up, Panzer Gray? You're usually my boy. The red nose went smoothly, and I topped it off with one of my new favorite colors, Satin Canyon Black from Rust-Oleum, for the roof. Canyon Black satin spray paint from Rust-Oleum is what I've used in the past to restore the roofs of several Amtrak diesels from Lionel. It's a great roof color and is barely distinguishable from Lionel's factory paint, so I used it here too. Here is where it pays to not be cheap. Tamiya fine modeler's tape costs a bit more, but it comes in various widths and pretty much guarantees a straight line with little to no seep through. It's good stuff. Technology is pretty awesome. Being able to design and print decals at home is something I never could have imagined 30 years ago. Now I do it all the time. Once the printer ink is dry, I spray the sheet with a glossy clear coat, and a few hours later, they're ready to cut and apply. I'm a little limited by the white decal paper, but that's another reason for the white stripe on the shell. I usually use a decal setting solution, but it hasn't worked well with inkjet decal paper. Setting solution is great for softening decals to conform to raised or irregular surfaces, but this E-60 has very flat and smooth sides. These crosses on the nose are the only decals that I didn't make for this model. They came from eBay, and I think they belong on a 1/48 scale airplane. But they look just as good on a 1/48 scale locomotive. I'll just reinstall the original cab glass at the front and rear, but I need to make my own for the new observation area. Masking tape can be used to make a template before the final shape is cut from an old plastic display box that I've been saving. The Tamiya kit came with a few boxes and extra ammo containers. I painted these, and I'm just going to hold them in place with a little bit of super glue around the area where the anti-aircraft gun will be mounted. The Man in the High Castle is a book that imagines what life in America would be like if Germany had won the Second World War. Amazon turned the book into a TV series which shows Nazi monorails connecting major cities, but they probably had trains too, I would guess. Which is why I converted this Williams E-60. If you're a fan of alternate histories, especially those dealing with World War II, check out either the book or the TV series. I think you would like either one. At some point in the future, I'll get around to adding LEDs for lighting, but for now, I think I'm done. This is just one of 3 shells I own that share the same motorized base. The other shells are decorated for Amroad from the Gene Wilder movie Silver Streak. If you want to see how those were made, I have separate videos that you can go back and find to see how these shells were painted.